Hello, my name is Michelle Genders, and today's my first day at Associated Psychology Practice in Katoomba. I'm a provisional psychologist, and I did another video previously which explains further about what that is. But just to recap, it means that I have a degree in psychology and I'm undertaking a practical internship. And during that time, I'm more closely supervised by another psychologist who is fully registered and has more experience than me while I complete the tasks to become fully registered myself. And I've been doing that for the past 2.5 years. So I'm in the consulting rooms that I'm going to be using for my sessions. And I started this video by showing you the view outside the window because it relates to the theme of what I want to talk about today, which is paying attention to nature and how that can benefit your mental health. So, I try to have a daily dose of nature. This might be something as small as sitting in the sun for a couple of minutes or deliberately taking time between activities to pay attention to the trees that are around me and taking a deep breath and remembering that the oxygen that I breathe is the result of the conversion by the trees of carbon dioxide. So I started to do this really consciously during the first wave of the pandemic last year because I did a course with a meditation teacher called Mark Coleman called Nature and Resilience. So a key thing that Mark taught us is that during times of struggle, you can consciously lean on nature for solidarity and strength. So we tend to think that this has to be going to an expansive landscape, something transcendent. But there are other ways that we can access that feeling. For example, you can call to mind, just imagine those kind of landscapes in some way or another. So a few ways that you could do that is you can look at photos that you've taken on past trips that you've gone on. Maybe you want to even print some out if you can. Or you could call up a friend and that you've gone on a trip with and reminisce about that time that you spent together. Or you can call on a memory that you have, say from your childhood, that you spent time outside in nature. So when I was growing up, I grew up in a coastal town and I spent a lot of time on the lake. So when I remember that, that does make me feel really good. So a lot of us are in more urban environments, but you can still access nature in that. So any little patch of nature that you have available to you will make a difference. So say you have a little bit of sky that you can watch the clouds go past on, or a pot plant that you have on your veranda, or a tree that you can see from your window. It doesn't have to be a lot. Is what I'm saying, is that, just another option that you could do is perhaps you could have some fresh flowers delivered to your house, or you can go out into the garden and do that weeding that you've been putting off, or maybe you could order some pots online and repot those pot plants that you've been meaning to do that you haven't got around to. I really think this makes a huge difference. I suspect it could help every human, and there is modern research and also ancient wisdom that confirms this. Look, I'm not saying that this isn't a hard time for people. It's the worst. It's been going on for a long time. We don't know how long it's going to keep going on for. But there is going to be a point where we are when it is going to change again. So in the meantime, there are things that we can do to make this easier for ourselves, if at all possible. What I'm saying is it's okay to wait to make some wise decisions about what you need to do to get through this. So you can pay attention to what's joyful and uplifting instead of what's stressful and upsetting. I'm not saying again that we shouldn't pay attention to what's really happening with policy and such. So, of course, there are times when I spend way too much time reading the news, but I really try to catch myself when I'm doing that and take a step back and say, okay, I'm going to choose beauty and calmness instead of anger and fear right now, and put my phone down or turn off the computer and just look out by the window or walk outside into the garden. Um, I'm really grateful that I can access this, and that is another aspect of why um, I find this a helpful thing to do, is to remember what I have in front of me. I could completely miss that if I got caught up in all the things that are going wrong. And again, it's not to say that there aren't things that aren't ideal about this situation. There's a lot about it to be upset and angry and sad about. But I could totally miss what's right in front of me or right outside my window if I didn't, make that high on my agenda to prioritize. So, if you'd like to discuss further some of the things that you might be finding difficult or struggling with at the moment, as well as some possible ways to cope better, then please give Associated Psychology Practice a call on 02 47 22 3137 and ask to make an appointment with me or one of our other really great clinicians. Thank you.